Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Realm of Ori. In this video, we will continue with Volume 19, Prologue, The Chief Angel Moves. If you haven't watched the previous video or chapter, you can find the link in the description below. And before we start, this video contains spoilers from the Tensura Light Novel. And by the way guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get notifications for upcoming videos. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Michael opened his eyes and shook his head to clear his confusing emotions. He felt betrayed by Obera, who had erased her ultimate skill Salvation King Azrael, and escaped his control. Michael realized that he should have trusted no one and used everyone as pawns, a lesson he learned too late. He had used Velgrynd to regain control over the angelic skill holders but still needed to handle the Insector's potential betrayal. Michael planned to send Zelinus to a fierce battleground, and Obera's role in monitoring the world-destroying dragon Velgrynd had diminished. He had to decide who to send to take out Obera and revise the plan if necessary. Michael realized that impatience and anger would only narrow his vision and dull his thinking, so he chose to defeat the rebels himself to avoid making more mistakes and calmly tackle the next problem. Michael reflected on his current predicament and realized that emotions were not so bad after all. He concluded that there was not only one perfect answer and that he could enjoy the process of finding it. In the otherworld, gravity doesn't exist and objects made of magicules are scattered throughout the empty space. These objects are used as bases by the phantoms, former angels who want to remember life in a gravitational field. Obera is a large base that serves as the front line against Velgrynd, and Michael jumps towards it using spatial transportation. However, he senses the presence of a large enemy army nearby. Obera and her soldiers notice Michael's presence and form a full sky formation to encircle him. This tactic is effective against cryptids, which rarely swarm together. Michael regrets that he has to eliminate Obera and her soldiers, who have been holding off the cryptids for so long. But he is determined to do so to make up for the losses and eliminate the traitors. That went by quicker than I anticipated. Your acts were significant since they helped me recognize my errors. You should realize, though, that there is no pardon for it. Naturally, I won't be pleading for your pardon. Was it, Michael? I have no responsibility to follow the directions of someone who exudes mistrust, whether you are the will of a skill or something else. Both sides confirmed their intentions, and the war began immediately. Obera took the lead, commanding hundreds of thousands of troops to fill the otherworld with destructive light. The soldiers deployed in a full sky formation, forming a hemisphere that consisted of defense specialists at the front and constant attacking back rows. This created a dazzling display of light as they attacked Michael from all sides. Despite being hit by the continuous wave of energy attacks, Michael remained calm as he knew that the castle guard would protect him from any attack. The castle guard failed to disable all attacks as it was supposed to, which allowed Obera's concentrated energy to burn Michael to a crisp. Michael was shocked by this and investigated the reason for the failure. He realized that none of the imperial subjects were loyal to him, unlike Rudra, who had a huge following. Michael had few subordinates who were loyal to him because he was unknown to most people in the world. He had also misunderstood his own ultimate skill, Justice King Michael. Michael had thought he was protecting Velgrynd with his castle guard before, but he was mistaken. Michael learned that the conditions for using his castle guard were strict and that it nullified all attacks. Obera was also surprised by Michael's damage and confused by the failure of the castle guard. Despite this, she saw it as an opportunity and gave her orders. Continue attacking with all your might. Maintain good coordination, and don't let Michael take a nap. The soldiers acted without needing orders and attacked with full force. Obera had anticipated Michael's pursuit and was prepared to take action when her betrayal was discovered. As a countermeasure, she planned to launch a full-scale attack while secretly withdrawing. Her escape destination was the enemy's territory, and she had planned to guide Michael there and ambush the cryptids. However, she felt that her soldiers might have to act as decoys to distract Michael. Obera was a calculated and rational commander who understood the need to sacrifice a few to save the many. She had already selected who would survive and who wouldn't. If Michael didn't make a move, she planned to teleport out during that opening. Obera, as a strategist, had set up this escape plan with the intention of opening the Great Gate of the Sky from inside the otherworld. Oma, you are going to lead the First Legion from the field of combat. Our lord, the demon lord Milim Sama, is where we are going. Obera issued orders to her devoted supporters, intending to lead them until the very end. Among them, the First Legion was the most exceptional and loyal to her. Oma, who was an exceptional second-in-command with excellent fighting skills, had also become an undead elf and gained even greater strength, making her a valuable asset to Demon Lord Milim in the future. Despite believing this, Obera's final order was met with resistance from Oma, who now spoke fluently after becoming an undead elf. "You had to be kidding. You, the Primordial, are the only one who has access to the gate's key. Even if that weren't the case, a warrior could never run away from their lord whom they were sworn to protect. Our glory is with you." All of the soldiers that were following Obera's orders enthusiastically shouted in agreement. The soldiers felt that surviving without Obera was pointless, and it was their true sentiment and source of pride. If Obera had been taken over by Justice King Michael, then the absolute castle guard would have been created, with an unbreakable command and loyal soldiers, but it was just a hypothetical scenario. Obera was troubled and feared the worst, which was that they would all perish. She knew that someone needed to reach Milim and inform her of their situation, sharing as much information as possible. Obera considered whether she should stay or if Oma should take over, and she knew that her emotions were irrelevant at this point. The decision with the highest success rate was what mattered the most, and Obera had made her decision, but before she could reveal it, something interrupted her. Obera immediately gave orders as she sensed something was amiss. Despite being lost in thought, she remained vigilant towards Michael, aware of the potential dangers on the battlefield. She was too experienced to make mistakes in such a critical situation. As she observed him, she noticed that Michael's energy level had suddenly stabilized, indicating that he was no longer receiving damage. But before she could analyze the situation, she felt that Michael was gathering an immense amount of power. Without hesitation, Obera issued her commands, and her vast army of hundreds of thousands moved in unison. They spread out in all directions, with those at the outer edges leading the charge. However, to their dismay, Michael's technique was triggered, making their movements appear foolish in comparison. Scorch Dragon Cardinal Acceleration. A powerful strike that allowed him to fully harness the power of Velgryn's capture resulted in the destruction of more than 10,000 of Obera's soldiers in an instant. Though the sight was like a nightmare, Obera was able to mitigate the damage as she had noticed Michael's sudden increase in power before the attack. Despite her fury at the loss of her subordinates, Obera remained calm and analyzed Michael's current strength, which was overwhelmingly greater than her own. The scattered rays of light that attempted to counterattack were being repelled by an ice barrier that Michael had put up, which Obera recognized as the snow crystal shield of the frost dragon Velzard. This barrier was an absolute defense that could prevent all physical attacks and required an enormous amount of energy to penetrate. Obera concluded that it would be impossible for her alone to shatter snow crystal, and even with the united power of her subordinates, they would be unlikely to penetrate the shield. "Oma, you are in charge of the task. Get out of here." And to Milim-sama, "I'm not going to agree to that." "Obera-sama, I have the right to defy your commands because I am the chief of staff. The time is right to do this. I entrust this task to you. Everyone, give it your best effort." Upon receiving this command, the soldiers under her command showed enthusiastic and excited expressions, despite the order to die given by Obera. Their declaration of loyalty was the cue to resume the ruthless annihilation.